Hello students, today we are going to discuss about some previous year questions of class 11 of Assam Higher Secondary Education of Accountancy. So the question here is, you see, from the following information, prepare a trial balance. Okay, and then the information given here is, you can see here, we have particulars and we have the amount column here. In particulars, we have machinery, we have furniture, wages, outstanding salaries, interest on bank loan, purchases, billings, sundry charges, sundry debtors, bad debts, salary paid in advance, we have rent received in advance, sales, bank loan, discount allowed, discount received, capital, drawings and carriage inward. So with this given information, we have the amount here, and with this information we have to prepare a trial balance. So before moving into the answer, we have to understand what is a trial balance. So a trial balance is a statement that is prepared at the end of an accounting period to ascertain the arithmetical accuracy of all the accounts that we have, all the ledger accounts that we have made. So it has a debit side and a credit side. So you see, this will be our answer. So what a trial balance does, at the end of the year, see, we have written as on 31st December 2023. So at the end of, and this is the end of the accounting period, we write trial balance here, and this is the debit side and this is the credit side of our statement. So the trial balance is a statement where we enter all the balances of the accounts, different kind of accounts in both the sides. So now we have to understand what account goes in what side. So in our question, as you can see, as I have already mentioned all the particulars, we have, let us see the debit side first. So we have furniture. We will place furniture in the debit side of the trial balance. Why? Because it is an asset account. We have to understand certain rules before preparing this whole statement, that there are certain accounts or certain ledger accounts whose balances will always go in the debit side, and some accounts, those balances will always come in the credit side. So we have furniture here, that is of 6,000. The balance of the for a ledger account, that is furniture account, is 6,000 at the end of the year. So we have placed it in the debit side. Why? Because it is a asset account. Assets will always have a debit balance. Then next we have machinery, 15,000, which is also an asset. Next you see we have wages. So what is wages? Wages is a direct expense. So by this we know that even expenditures will also go in the debit side of the trial balance. So wages, we have 2,000, that will go in the debit side. Next we have interest on bank loan. What is this? This is also an expenditure for the business. So we have put it in the debit side. Next we have purchases. It is also a expenditure for the business, so it goes in the debit side. So purchases, how much we have? 7,500. Next we have building. So building is also an asset for the business. So the balance of the building account at the end of the year was 15,000. That also goes to the debit side of the trial balance. Next we have sundry charges. So what is sundry charges? These are those miscellaneous and little expenditures that are made by the business. For example, buying stationery, buying a copy, all those little expenses, they will go under the sundry charges. So that they are also expenditure, so they are put in the debit side. Next we have sundry debtors. So what are debtors? Debtors are those people or institutions that owe money to the business. So debtors are assets for the business. We put them in the debit side of the trial balance. Next we have bad debt. So what is bad debt? Bad debt is basically the amount that we cannot recover from the debtors. So that becomes mostly a loss or an expenditure for the business. So again, we put expenses and losses in the debit side. So we put bad debt on the debit side of the trial balance. Next, we have salary paid in advance. So anything that the business pays in advance will become an asset for the business. Why? For example, we take if the business has an accountant and we pay him, like suppose now it is the month of October, and if the business pays the salary of the accountant for the month of November already in October, then that is the salary paid in advance. But how does it become an asset? It becomes an asset because the service of the accountant has not been provided yet to the business. So it will be provided in the future. So it becomes an asset for the business. So we have put that in the debit side. That is salary paid in advance, we have 6,000. Next, we have discount allowed. Again, what is discount allowed? Discount allowed is an expenditure for the business. When the business sells something, sells goods on credit, not credit, but when the business sells and something, or if they have to receive some money and they allow certain discounts, so that is an expenditure for the business. That also we put on the debit side of the trial balance. Next, we have drawings. What is drawing? Drawing is that amount that is withdrawn from the capital of the business, and that is withdrawn by the owner of the business. So drawing, we put it in the debit side. Next, we have carriage inward. What is carriage inward? It is a direct expense for the business. So again, the expenditure also goes to the debit side. So carriage inward, we have 1450. So by now we can understand what are the accounts that goes, or what are the account heads that goes to the debit side. That is, the assets will go to the debit side. Next, expenses will go to the debit side. Also losses goes to the debit side, and the drawings will go to the debit side as well. So now we move to the credit side of our trial balance. So in a trial balance, in the credit side, we record the income of the business, we record the capital, and we record the liabilities of the business. So as we had in the question, we have outstanding salaries, and that is a liability of the business. So we put it in the credit side, that is 500 rupees. So what is outstanding salaries? Outstanding salary is that salary that is left to be paid to the employees of an organization. So it becomes a liability for the business, and we put that in the credit side of a trial balance. And next, we have put rent received in advance. So what is rent received in advance? The amount of rent that is already been received without providing the service. So for example, the business owner rents out rooms. So if the customers pay that rent in, suppose for the month of November, they pay the rent in the month of October, so it becomes a rent received in advance, but the business has not yet provided any service. So it becomes a liability for the business, and we put that in the credit side. So rent received in advance, 1000 goes to the credit side of the trial balance. Then we have put sales in the credit side. Sales is 34,500 rupees. So sales is the revenue generated by business, and that will always go to the credit side. Next, we have bank loan. Bank loan is a liability. We have a bank loan of 6,000 rupees, and that will go in the credit side of the trial balance. And then we have discount received. What is discount received? Discount received is the income of the business. So we put that in the credit side. And then at last we have capital. So capital is the amount of money that the business owner invests in the business. So that always goes to the credit side of the trial balance. So by now we can understand that we have certain kinds of accounts that goes to the debit side, and those accounts that goes to the credit side. So in the debit side, we will always have to place the asset accounts, the expenditure, drawings, and the losses. Then in the credit side, we will have to place the capital, any kind of liability, and all the kind of incomes will go to the credit side of a trial balance. So again, you see, when we add all the amounts here, we get 70,000 this side at the debit side, and we get here, when we add all these, we get 70,000 here again. So what does it do? This, a trial balance, shows us the arithmetical accuracy of the accounts that has been prepared all through the year. So again, but what if we and this is known as telling trial. If both the sides are equal, that means the trial balance has got tallied. But what if these sides were not equal? That means it would have been, we would have said that the trial balance does not tally. And by that we mean, while preparing the different kind of accounts, there might have been some kind of mistake. That is why the trial balance does not tally. But in our case, our trial balance tallies, and that means the accountant or those who prepare the accounts have made it all correctly. So thank you.